Many thanks for joining us on Aso Briefing. Today, I am Joy Annie. Let's begin with the headlines. President Tinubu commissions A1 Pi Road. Brazilian Vice President arrives Abuja today to open a strategic dialogue as VP Aklim arrives Abuja. Lawmakers ban on Customs Service Comprehensive Import Suspension Scheme begins June 30, 2025. FCT police foil robbery attempt in Aporo settlement. And on business, Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Adu, affirms huge achievement of government renewed hope agenda. You're watching Aso Briefing. We're live on DSTV channel 392, also on StarTimes TV channel 127 and Free TV channel 507. We now go ahead with details of all our stories. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday inaugurated the 15-kilometer A2 Pi Town Road in Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. The road is part of the 150 kilometers completed or ongoing across the 6 area councils since May 29, 2023. President Tinubu emphasized the importance of rural connectivity in driving national growth and prosperity. The president lauded the FCT minister for prioritizing rural development while calling on the Pi community to take ownership of the road and preserve it for local growth.
Excellency, the Governor of the United States, ranking members of the National and Country of the FCT Minister of State Junction, Abuja Lokoja Road in Pi Town. My name is Eugene and welcome Coordinator for Satellite Town Development Department, STD. He's going to be doing the overview of the project. Am I correct on that? Yes, absolutely.
For that time. Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima will host Brazilian Vice President Geraldo Alckmin, who, accompanied by his wife, Maria Lucia Alckmin, arrived in Abuja today for the second session of the Nigerian-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism, the SDM, aimed at strengthening bilateral relations between both countries. Throughout his visit, which will feature several joint events, including the opening ceremony of the Strategic Dialogue on this morning at the State House Conference Center, Abuja, the Vice President touched down at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, where top Nigerian officials received him. The high-level diplomatic visit marks the beginning of the 3-day summit, suspected and expected to culminate in the signing of over 30 memorandum of understanding across key sectors, including defense cooperation, agricultural technology transfer, energy collaboration, health, education, and cultural exchange. According to the Office of the Vice President, the SDM provides a framework for both countries to deepen cooperation on strategic priorities. A joint press conference by the foreign ministers of the Nigeria and Brazil is scheduled for today afternoon. Also, the State House later this evening, a Nigerian Brazil gala dinner will be hosted by Vice President Shettima in honor of the visiting delegation. Among those who welcomed the Brazilian delegation were the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hassan, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, and the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari. Moving on now, the House of Representatives had barred the Nigerian Customs Service from collecting Comprehensive Import Suspension Scheme, the CISS, effective June 30, 2025. House Committee on Customs, chaired by Mr. Leke Abejide during a budget defense session with officials of Customs, directed that the agency should rather connect its 4% free on board FOB, which is the only legal source of income backed by the Act of Parliament assigned by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The committee also declared as illegal the 7% cost of collection by the service. Chairman of the committee urged the service to operate in accordance with the law or face court action.
Nigeria Customs Service, listen to us. We will challenge you in the court of law. Any attempt not to start what the law says you should do, you also face the wrath of the law. Even the 7% cost of collection you are taking is equally illegal. It's an executive fiat of the military. This is a democratic dispensation. Those in support that 7% illegal collection should stop, say aye. Those against, say nay. Let's have it. We'll give you the opportunity of these few days. Any attempt to try it and collect the CISS on 1st of July, you will face the wrath of the law. Go back to what the law says you should do in section 18(1)(a) of Nigeria Customs Service Act and implement it. This is the house of the people, so we speak.
The committee, however, after presentation by a representative of the Comptroller General of Customs, Deputy Comptroller General B.M. Jibo, okayed 6.584 trillion naira as the revenue target for the service for the 2025 financial year, consisting 3.8563 trillion naira for federation and 1.081 trillion naira for non-federation and 1.650 trillion naira for import VAT. It equally approved the sum of 1.13 trillion naira for the services 2025 operation.
Is it the opinion of this committee to approve 4% free on board of 1 trillion 70 billion for Nigeria Customs Service 2025? You can see now 4% is what you approve for you. Don't bring 7% collection here and don't bring 1% CISS here. Opinion of this committee to approve personnel costs of both ongoing and new 645.42 billion. 100% carried. So for 2025, the sum of 1 trillion 132 billion has been approved at the committee level for your operation.
The Nigeria Customs outlined several strategic initiatives to meet the 2025 target, including, among others, implementation of the Unified Customs Information System for full automation, strengthened revenue recovery through post-clearance audit and systems audit, and an increased investment in capacity building and recruitment. Now, members of the House of Representatives and the minority have expressed deep sadness over the heinous attack on Plateau State last Friday, June 21, 2025, in which 31 innocent wedding travelers, members of the Basawa community from Zaria, Kaduna State, were ambushed on their way to a marriage ceremony in Pau. The members, referred to as Minority Caucus of the House in a statement signed by the leader, Mr. Kingsley Chinda, another lamented that among the 12 persons killed in attack were the father, younger brother, and uncle of the groom. Now, the caucus said grief and anguish visited upon the family and upon a community that had set out in joy are both staggering and unconscionable. The members, who though hailed the prompt intervention of the Nigerian army, whose swift action prevented further loss of life, wondered how the country got to a stage where joyful travelers are mistaken for threats and murdered in cold blood. The caucus called on the government of Plateau State and the federal government to launch a full investigation into the attack to bring all those responsible to account and urgently implement security and reconciliation initiative in the state. This is as it stated that piecemeal responses no longer suffice, but a holistic approach that combines justice, dialogue, security, and reconciliation. Now, the caucus extended deeper sympathies to the grieving families of Basawa, saying the tragedy must be the turning point, not just in words, but in action. Now, the coalition of the 7 AMAC APC aspirants have called for the rescheduling of fresh APC delegate congress. The leader of the coalition, Mr. Ishaku Tanko Yamawo, made a call during a news briefing organized by the 7 AMAC APC aspirants to express their dissatisfaction over the process of the selection for sole candidate for the FCT area council's chairmanship election scheduled to hold next year in Abuja. Our head of political desk, Dr. Gimba, was there.
Honorable Shako Tanka Yamao said, what transpired on Saturday, 21st June 2025, under the guise of a delegate congress in the 12 electoral wards of AMAC, was not a congress, but a scripted charade designed to favor a selected individual and which might destroy the foundational structure of the APC in the FCT if not addressed. Honorable Yamao said, contrary to reports being circulated, no authentic delegate congress took place across AMAC. Instead, the entire process was deliberately manipulated and grossly compromised. He said they were shocked to discover that many of these returned as delegates from the compromised congress were recently returned members of the People's Democratic Party PDP who were made delegates to achieve a planned agenda. Honorable Ishaku Tanko Yamao therefore called for the cancellation of the outcome of the delegate congress in AMAC and fresh congress to be organized.
This move is an insult to the founding fathers of the APC and a betrayal of our principles of trust, sincerity, and purpose, inclusion, internal democracy, and reward for loyalty and service. Compromise at the National Secretariat. We are deeply concerned that the elements within the national leadership of the APC have been compromised and are actively undermining the integrity of the party structure in AMAC and the FCT as a whole.
Also, an aspirant, Wuse Wat Abuja, Mr. Abdul Hakim Balebelo, said if this situation is not urgently addressed, the very foundation of the party, which is trust, unity, inclusion, and meritocracy, will be separately damaged.
There wasn't any Congress. What we witnessed on the 21st of June, that was last Saturday, was just a total personal arrangement by some officials with the DCAMP, Honorable Christopher Mikelongu, that came to our party to come and take over all the activities. You can imagine we are the aspirant of this election. How can a Congress be held without any meeting interfacing with the officials prior to the Congress day?
An aspirant, Getchi Watt, Barsa Daniel Dodas Jidu, and Joseph Samuel Ganaiko both described the process as a charade and called for an immediate reversal for a fresh Congress to be conducted.
There was just some group of people who just came with few names. A family names was given. I asked, why is this happening? Why are my delegates not participating on the exercise? There was no answer for that. So we are all calling for the same purpose, that this delegates congress that was held last Saturday should be cancelled.
It was so disheartening on Saturday at my ward, Kabusa, where the committee for the Congress brought out a list containing less than 100 members of the party. And the names were only those of the DCAMPs that just came to the party recently. So, and we had thousands of members who were ready and willing to vote, but they were not given the opportunity. Election didn't take place for the delegates, and that was it. It ended that way, nothing took place. And same thing happened across the 12 wards.
Other 7 members of the coalition of the AMAC APC aspirants included Jennifer Ozioma Inamodi, Mr. Said Al-Hassan Haske, and Barrister Sylvester Tanko Pioe were all in attendance. Topsy Gimba, Aso Television News.
Still on political issue, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has successfully held primaries to select its flag bearers for the upcoming FCT Area Council election. The primaries were conducted peacefully in the presence of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC officials and security agents. Correspondent Abdullahi Mukhtar completes the story.
Declaring the results, Mr. Bako Angulu, the state electoral chairman in Kwali Area Council, and Mr. Michael Jigo, his counterpart in Gwagwalada, announced the winners. In Kwali Area Council, Alhaji Mohammed Haruna Pai emerged as the PDP candidate with 13 votes out of 30. Mr. Ibrahim Daniel Kwali, 11 votes. Zakaz Shazim Madaki, 6 votes. In Gwagwalada Area Council, Alhaji Kasim Mohammed Ikwa, the immediate first vice chairman, won with 19 votes. Alhaji Rabiu Adamu Saba scored 11 votes, respectively.
I want to announce that Haruna Pay Mohammed is the winner of this primary, the party primaries election. Congratulations, PDP, Kwali Area Council.
By this election, we want to announce that Honorable Rabiu Saba Adamu, he had the total vote of 11. So our own Honorable Kasimu Mohammed Ikwa, he emerged as the flag bearer of PDP 2026 election with a total number of 19 votes. Put your hands for him.
Alhaji Haruna Pai and Alhaji Kasim Mohammed Ikwa thanked the delegates for the peaceful conduct of the primaries. Alhaji Rabiu Adamu Saba congratulated Alhaji Kasimu on his victory and pledged to work towards the party's success.
It is my wish to bring to their notice that Kwali is a baby local government, and perhaps we have to come together and make the area council grow so that tomorrow our yet unborn children will be proud of us. I wish to thank all the entire people of Kwali Area Council for the support given to me. May the Almighty Allah continue to protect us. May the Almighty Allah continue to protect Abuja and Nigeria. Bring peace to the country, bring peace to Abuja, bring peace to Kwali Area Council.
My co-aspirants, there is no loser, no winner, because nobody succeeds alone. So I'm calling on my co-aspirants and the followers so that we join hands together, we'll make PDP succeed and we'll be proud together. So it's only unity and collective effort that we need now.
I congratulate him once again. There's no problem. Inshallah, we'll work together as a party who doesn't have issue.
Other party officials also commended the outcome of the exercise, expressing optimism about the party's prospects in the upcoming elections.
We are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for availing of this opportunity to see this day, and we're thanking him for what we've seen, and we're accepting it with good faith.
In fact, the outcome inspired me. I really commend Alhaji Rabiu Adamu Saba for a very good outing.
The PDP flag bearers will now await the outcome of the APC primaries scheduled for this week to determine their major contenders in the council elections next year. The results in Abaji and Kuje Area Council were unopposed, with their flag bearers emerging without context. Abdullahi Mukhtar, Aso Television News.
The FCT Police Command says its operative successfully fought a robbery attempt in the Zone E extension area of Apori Settlement, Abuja, on the 23rd of June 2025 at approximately 10:30 p.m. The command spokesperson SP Josephine Ada disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday detailing how the operation was conducted. According to her, following a distress call received from a commercial motorcycle rider in Apori Settlement reporting heavy gunfire in the area, the divisional police Officer of Apo Division, CSP Uchenna Igwebuike, immediately mobilized his ambush and surveillance team to the scene. SP Ada said the attackers engaged the police team in a fires-gun battle, adding that in a swift tactical response, a reinforcement team led by the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Operation DCP Ishaku Sharu arrived at the scene. The police spokesperson disclosed that the operatives responded with superior firepower, forcing the assailant to flee into the surrounding hills, noting that the joint manhunt operation involving police operatives and local vigilantes is currently ongoing to track down and apprehend the fleeing suspects. SP Ada further revealed that during the operation, 3 persons were rescued with varying degrees of injuries inflicted by the attackers, and a light green Toyota Corolla with registration number GWA 620AU belonging to one of the victims was recovered at the scene. The statement said all injured persons were immediately evacuated to Sahad Hospital, Apo Resettlement for emergency medical care, but sadly one of the victims later succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead by medical personnel. His remains have been deposited in the hospital morgue. When Aso Briefing returns, World Health Organization warns that 1.3 million people die per year of second-hand smoke. To stay with us.
We were warned about this marriage. Because we did not listen, a young maiden is dead.
Nana, come here. Hi. Why do you speak so freely with a stranger from Ajan?
We were just talking about offering Odigijave a seat on the council.
The gods be praised. Legodo is Sisi. He has 2 wives. So why are you making it look like it is a big deal?
Many thanks for staying there. Now, the World Health Organization has warned that urgent action is needed to maintain and accelerate progress in tobacco control as rising tobacco industry interface threatens global efforts to reduce tobacco use. In a statement released on Monday, WHO highlighted its 2025 Global Tobacco Epidemic Report unveiled at the World Conference on the Tobacco Control in Dublin. It says that WHO empower measures designed to curb tobacco use, which cause more than 7 million deaths annually. Moving on now, it said though smoke has been something from the billion people worldwide, up from just 1 billion in 2007. Now, an association of advocates for welfare and care of widowers, orphans and persons with disabilities have called for an increased support and relief for the widows in the country. The Child Lady Widows Association, Mrs. Nkechi Martha Ohiri, made this known during the celebration of International Widows Day in Abuja. Topsy Gimba has that details.
The Chair Lady Widows Association, Mrs. Ikechi Martha Ohiri, say widows, widowers, orphans, and persons with disabilities are vulnerable and need special attention. She said many families are struggling to survive due to the death of their husbands, wives, thereby exposing them to societal challenges. She urged the government at all levels to be proactive by creating channels to pay attention to these groups of people in the society. She disclosed that the coming together of advocacy groups was aimed at creating awareness for the plight of widows and widowers in the society.
For now, as I bring the whole NGOs now together, I think if God help us, the team work out fine. We'll be unveiling it to all states, calling the NGOs there, both the president, government, the first lady. If there anybody that have an NGO, please look at the widow, look at the orphans, look at the person with disabilities, look at the widower. Because what we are trying to showcase, where you can find them, where they are. Because some of them, when they call widows, you see women that have husband will come out. So we are looking at where this is where you can find them in all states. So we pray that God will help us to succeed on this, our association of advocates of widows.
The founder and CEO of Kids and Teen Resource Center, Martin Mary Falana, tasked caregivers to remain committed to the plight of the vulnerable in the society, particularly children left behind by their parents.
Let me use the word, they are loners. Because most times, what husband and wife should put heads together to resolve is what they are doing alone. And that is why I am passionately supporting them, looking for resources left and right to ensure that we give to them to support them in their care for their children. If we don't care for these children today, what they may turn out to be in future, we may not be able to accommodate it.
Mrs. Onyemi Aniete Adams holds similar views.
I think God has blessed Nigeria in a way that there are people that have funds, there are people that have ways of assisting them. But it's only that they are not able to meet with these people because some of them, the link, the phone numbers, they can't get. So what I will try to do is to try to meet with these people, try to bring them in for them to know that there are people that needs them, that needs their assistance, that needs help in the country. God has blessed this country.
The head of programs, Aso Radio and Television Abuja, Mr. Adams Momo, received an award for his major contribution to the creation of awareness to issues of widows, orphans, and persons living with disabilities in the society. The event recorded many speeches from concerned Nigerians. Topsy Gimba, Aso Television News.
Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, has announced impressive impact of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to boosting living standards of citizens. The minister in Abuja during the citizens and stakeholders engagement on implementation of presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables for the second quarter of the 2025 acknowledged that the government has been consistent in meeting its obligation. Business correspondent Ile Emeje tells us more.
Grow the economy.
Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, in his presentation, highlights significant performance of the administration, pointing, among others, improved GDP growth, external reserves, and revenue generation.
Real GDP growth is on the right trajectory, but at 3.4%, even 3.8% is not enough. Impressively, the external reserves have grown from what was a low of about $3 billion to over $23 billion.
While commending the government for the resultant impact across sectors, the coordinating minister disclosed that it is a clear case of vote of confidence on Nigeria, considering the effects.
It's a vote of confidence in the management of the Nigerian economy. Small and medium-scale businesses, entrepreneurs, service providers, manufacturers are the backbone of this market economy, and they have been provided grants.
Earlier, Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, in a welcome address, applauds the bold step of the government to implementing its policies.
The ministry's performance at the end of the first quarter was quite impressive, especially in the area of revenue generation, granting of waivers on critical sectors, and debt management, among other issues.
Highlighting the conducive environment for businesses to thrive, other stakeholders assured of optimal management of public wealth.
From only 20 accounts of our portfolio companies, our asset under management has grew to 38 trillion, only on the 20 portfolio companies. So by the time we finish our reviews on all the portfolio companies, definitely this figure will be much, much higher.
And why we started with the civil servants and then expanded outward. So as of today, we have over 100,000 Nigerians who have gotten access to credit backed by Credit Corps across financial institutions in every state of the country. And they're either getting, some get vehicles, some get solar panels for their homes, some access to furniture, some do electronic devices, some get general credit for life essentials.
Mr. Edun further pledged more commitment of President Tinubu-led administration to transparency, integrity, and a robust economy. Ile Emeje, Aso Television News.
That's Aso Briefing. I am Joy Annie. Thanks for watching.